Hey, good morning. Welcome to an LA Life podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 8th. Here we are in the great state of Indiana, LaFountain, Indiana today. Looks like a pretty nice day. Yesterday was really nice here. And today, a little foggy out there to begin the day, but it's going to be a good day. Glad you decided to join us again. For whatever reason, I don't know why I'm sucking on this just a piece of candy, so I apologize for that. But here we go. We're going to jump in. Most of you have paid attention to this, and so early Monday morning, there was this 7.8 magnitude earthquake that hit in Turkey and Syria. And as I checked earlier this morning, about an hour ago, they had estimated that at the moment they're thinking 11,000 people or more have lost their lives. I don't know how correct those numbers are, but we know that thousands of people have lost their lives. We also know that there are several people now without homes. There are several people without loved ones. There are several people, obviously without shelter, and most of that escaped the earthquake and survived. Really left. I mean, if they could leave, meaning, or maybe. Regardless, here it is. I'll finally figure this out. Whatever they're wearing is really all they have, right? They've lost everything. And when that happens, the question comes to us, and I've got it written down here, and the question is always, why? Right? Why, God? Do you not care about people? How could this happen? And let me just really kind of first say it this way. I really can't answer the why. I mean, I can Google it, and so can you, and you can Google why do earthquakes happen, and it'll give you a really, 2-sentence answer, and it'll talk about the plates that shift and on a fault line, and when that happens, I mean, it'll give you all the answers, but that's just head knowledge. The knowledge that we struggle with, or what we really struggle with, is the heart side of it. Again, it's the why and don't you care and how come. Well, let me just try to answer a few things for you today, because I'm not going to be able to head knowledge give you the answers that's going to help you today. But I'll try to give you some heart things for you to think of. And the first thing I have written down here today is God is sovereign. Right? God is sovereign. He is in control. The Bible tells us in one place to go is in the book of Psalms, and it says that God knows all things from the past, the present, and the future. And while I may not understand all of that as a follower of God, I have to trust that God knows what he's doing. And that's this whole idea of God is sovereign. I just simply have to trust that God knows what he is doing. The second thing today is I want to read a story from Mark chapter 4. And let me just begin reading in Mark chapter 4. On that day when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him, and a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. So, right, picture what's happening here. Jesus has just spent the entire day teaching, loving on people, doing incredible miracles, and there's lots of people kind of crowding in. So he tells his disciples, let's get in a boat. We're going to go to the other side. And while going to the other side, Jesus is tired. He lays down. He goes to sleep, and a storm happens. In fact, it's such a big storm that fishermen, right? Remember, he called fishermen to be his followers. And so these fishermen are in this boat in a storm, and they're concerned they're going to lose their life. And Jesus is sleeping in the boat. Listen to what happens next. Verse 38. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" See, right there's the question that we ask, like when we see these things happen on the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. God, do you not care? Well, let me keep going back to the story. Verse 39, and he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was great calm. And he said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" See, this incredible story, the disciples, like you and I, ask from time to time, God, do you not care? Why is something bad about to happen? Well, we see in the story here in Mark chapter 4 that God wakes up and he rebukes the wind, he rebukes the sea, and he tells them to be still, and they listened. If you went back into the Old Testament and go to the story of Job, remember the story of Job? Job loses everything, his family, his livestock, his workers, his career. Let's just say he had a great loss, right? And while you and I don't understand the reasons for storms or earthquakes, and we deeply grieve for the loss of life, and we wonder where God is, maybe like Job, we should still answer and say, though he slay me, I will hope in him. That's Job 13:15. See, again, this is what it says. Though he slay me, though these bad things are happening, I'm still going to have hope in God. I'm still going to trust that God knows what he's doing. And so I wrote down a few things. So what do we do next? I mean, where do we go from here? Well, the first thing that we should always do is prayer. You and I need to spend some time in prayer, and we should be praying for those families that are affected by this earthquake. We should be praying for these families that are without homes. We should be praying for the rescue workers, organizations like IDES. By the way, IDES, IDES, it's one of the missions that we support. We give money to IDES when natural disasters happen. IDES then takes the money that churches are giving, and they're sending money over, sending help, sending support to that area. And there are plenty of other organizations that have already shown up and that are on the ground in Turkey and Syria around this earthquake area. We should be praying for them. We should be praying for the churches that are in that area that can open up homes and open up church buildings and that have Christians that are going to that area that are trying to provide help. We can pray. The second thing that you and I can do, because we do struggle like the disciples, and we ask, hey, God, where are you? Do you care? You and I need to spend some time in the Word. I just believe the more that you and I get in the Word of God begins to heal our soul when we're struggling. And then I think really the last thing that we can do, and there's more than just these three things, but maybe the last thing that we do is we just very simply need to reaffirm our hope and trust in a sovereign God. Okay, God, I don't understand, and I'm not exactly sure why these things happen the way they happen, but I still have hope and trust in you. I know that you know what you're doing, and I know on this Wednesday, February 8th, you care about us, and you care about the people over in Turkey and Syria. And while, again, I can't explain why an earthquake happened, I sure can tell people that I still have hope in God, because I know you know what you're doing. There you go, just a midweek kind of teaching for you. Maybe, like me, you're kind of struggling to get through this whole just world struggles that happen. Also want to encourage you, invite you to come back and join us. Be here on Sunday mornings. We're here at 9 o'clock, 10:30. Love to have you as we are working through the book of Mark here at LaFountain Christian. Come join us. Hey, love you guys. Have a great day.